Who would have thought? Isn't that absolutely insane that something as simple and benign as that? We're only just now beginning to figure out the nitty-gritties of these things. What do the following have in common? Number 1, faster trains. Number 2, a type of smarter technique that can help us detect fake currencies. And number 3, self-cleaning buildings. Let me give you a clue. The answer to all of this lies in plain sight, and it has been for billions of years. You can pause the video if you want to think about it, but here is the answer. All of these things that I just mentioned are inspired by nature. So really the question of who is the greatest engineer out there, I mean, hands down, it has to be nature. To be fair, for billions of years, nature has been refining itself, and it does have the best R&D department in the universe, right? This right here is exactly the transition into the core concept of our video, which is the principle of biomimetics. Biomimetics is the concept where scientists and engineers derive ideas straight from nature and implement it to solve everyday human problems. Take Japan's famous bullet train, for example. The problem engineers were struggling with initially was that there was a loud sonic boom produced when the train emerged from tunnels. So what was their solution? Well, they studied the kingfisher's beak, which is perfectly designed for diving into water without making a splash. By reshaping the train's nose to mimic the kingfisher, they reduced the noise, made the trains faster, and even improved energy efficiency. All right, number 2, counterfeiting technologies. If I had to pick a personal favorite from all of the examples of biomimetics that we're going to talk about today, I think this would be it for me. Although admittedly, it's quite a difficult choice. But question is very simple when it comes to this example. Can we improve the security features of our banknotes by gaining inspiration from the wings of a butterfly? It sounds wild, I know, and the answer is yes. In fact, this is exactly what certain companies like nanotech are out to do. Butterfly wings have microscopic structures that reflect and scatter light and therefore impart colors. But first, how do the security features in banknotes even work? Let's take a look.
The shiny ink contains special high-tech pigments which allow the number to change color from emerald green to deep blue when the banknote is tilted. The number also displays an effect of the light that moves up and down.
Scientists have tried to mimic this into a nanotechnology to create optical patterns that are impossible to counterfeit. And then there is the lotus effect. Lotus leaves display something called superhydrophobicity because their surfaces have tiny structures that repel water and dirt. Inspired scientists have developed self-cleaning paints and coatings. So the idea is that the water rolls right off, taking dust and grime with it. This is perfect for windows, buildings, and even solar panels. Now in this part of the video, we're going to be talking about future applications of biomimetics. Just to recap super quick, so far we have taken a look at how biomimetics, i.e. inspiration from nature, helps us to solve problems related to speed, security, and cleanliness. What about strength? I have puny muscles, but you can imagine this part. Let me ask you this. I realize I ask a lot of questions, but trust me, this is important. What do you think is the strongest biological material on planet Earth today? The answer is teeth. But not just any teeth. These teeth belong to a tiny little creature, a peculiar snail you find stuck on rocks called limpets. So scientists measured its tensile strength, which is the force a material can withstand before it undergoes a fracture or deformity. The tensile strength of limpet teeth is about 5 gigapascals, which is insane because 5 gigapascals, for analogy, means that per square centimeter, limpet teeth material can withstand 50,000 kilograms, which is equivalent to the maximum takeoff weight of a Boeing 717. Side note, we all know what inspired aircrafts into existence. So, motivated by limpet teeth, researchers have started to synthesize similar materials in the lab, new materials with superior mechanical performance that meet the key modern engineering challenges of affordability, durability, and sustainability are all the rage today. Imagine buildings, spacecraft, or medical implants made from materials inspired by limpet teeth. Isn't that absolutely wild? It is so difficult for me to process how an organism that tiny can have such super limpid strength. Now, I do want to mention that definitely this video does not take into account many others and counting examples of biomimetics, because trust me, there is so much out there and evolving, emerging, new, fresh, interesting, intriguing examples coming up on a regular basis. So just the other day, for example, I read an article in Nature, which is a highly prestigious scientific journal. And this article talked about how physicists are looking into the curl patterns on the petals of a rose. And they're only now beginning to figure out how the mathematics of it works. And then they go on to add to that and say that this could have potential benefits when it comes to certain engineering applications or even to architecture. Who would have thought? Isn't that absolutely insane that something as simple and benign as that, we're only just now beginning to figure out the nitty-gritties of these things that nature has perfected forever and ever? What better way to conclude about the wonders and lessons of nature than with a poem written in 1798 by the great English romantic poet William Wordsworth?
Come forth into the light of things, let nature be your teacher. Enough of science and of art. Close up those barren leaves. Come forth and bring with you a heart that watches and receives.
So ideally, we do want to watch and learn and receive, but in the spirit of science, at least when it comes to solving engineering problems. And of course, I could go on and add other examples to this video, but I think you get the point. So really, I would like to summarize by saying that we should all be grateful and remain inspired by everything that we have working in our life through the help of nature. With that, thank you so much for watching. Until next time.